What's going on, guys? Mcskillet here with another CSGO video, and today I'm doing a video on some of the best skins that people have ever received in their weekly drop for CSGO. And some people have gotten some really crazy stuff. I was quite surprised by a couple of the skins in this video, some super low float stuff especially, and the chances of getting this stuff is really rare. As you guys know, you basically almost always get screwed with your weekly drop. You'll probably end up getting something like a battle-scarred Scar 20 Storm, which is worth like 3 cents, but some people have gotten insanely lucky and not only received red rarity or pink rarity skins, but they've received insanely low float variants of those. And there's actually a way to tell if a skin is from a trade up or a drop, and I was able to determine all the ones that were from drops using the website CSGO Zone, because you can determine on there whether it's from a drop or a trade up. So all the skins in this video really were received in drops. They weren't from trade ups or anything, so it makes it even crazier. So let's get right into the first one. Alright, so starting off, we have an M4A1's Hot Rod with just about the craziest float value I've ever seen. I believe this is the lowest float skin on csgo.exchange at the moment, and this is from a drop. So it wasn't from like some trade up of a bunch of low float skins. Someone was actually they actually received a skin that has a float value of 0.00000017. Okay, that's enough, but they received a skin that had that float from a drop, and someone PM'd me on YouTube about this, saying that they got the new #1 Hot Rod on csgo.exchange. So at first I just thought that was pretty cool, but then when I saw the float value, I was just absolutely amazed. I mean, there's basically no skins in the game that have that many zeros in the float, so this is basically as spotless as a M4A1's Hot Rod could be, just so little scratches on it, even though there actually is some very minor scratches that are still on the Hot Rod, because I do not think you can get a completely flawless Hot Rod, no matter how low the float is. But I talked to some people that were involved with the trade with it, and apparently the guy sold it for 650 keys, so that's pretty insane. And I've heard that the guy that bought it has gotten offers even higher than that. So an M4A1's Hot Rod is actually worth over $1,300 just because the float value is just insanely low on it. Alright, so many of you have nicely let me know about this skin, about the M4A4 Poseidon, which is actually a lower float one than the one that I crafted in my video yesterday, which I thought was the #1 float on exchange. Apparently there's this other one that like wasn't registered at the time I made my video that has, it actually was from a drop. I checked on CSGO Zone and someone managed to get this in a drop, but it wasn't on any of the databases when I did my trade up, so I didn't even know about it. So it turns out the #1 M4A4 Poseidon that I crafted is actually the #2 M4A4 Poseidon, which is pretty unfortunate for me because that obviously means mine isn't worth as much. But still, this one's pretty crazy, and I do not know how you're supposed to top this one, because I tried to get the lowest float trade up skins I could, and I just couldn't even get one that's lower float than this one right here, because this one is from a drop, not a trade up. So this next skin is definitely one of the best skins ever received from a drop. I'm not sure who originally got this with their weekly drop, but it's an Medusa with a 0.0001 float value, and that actually isn't really that big of a deal on the Medusa, because basically a 0.01 or even probably like a 0.06 is basically identical on the Medusa, because as you guys may know, the float value and the conditions on the Medusa make a very little difference on the skin, but some people do pay extra for like low float brightness wear skins for some reason. I guess just the #1 ranking or something like that. But either way, this one also has 4 Titan hollows on it that someone added on later, which I think is pretty crazy. I'm not sure if I agree with having all 4 on it. I think just having the one on the scope at the start was kind of cool, but all 4 in it, that's pretty crazy, but it does add a lot of value because I don't think there's any other Medusas with 4 Titan hollows on it. So that is the Medusa, 4 Titan hollows, probably worth over $4,000 just because of the combination of stickers and the float value being the #1 float. I actually think it could sell for even more than that, but I'll set $4,000 at the minimum price, I would say. So next up we have an Op Dragonlore, which was from a recent drop. I believe this was like less than a month ago, so I thought I would show this one. It's one of the lowest float ones ever to be received in a drop. There's very little Dragonlores that have like 0.005 or less float values. This one's got a 0.004 and it's from a drop, and of course it's a lot easier to get a low float Dragonlore from a trade up, but there's very few low float ones from a drop. This is one of the lowest float ones out there. As you can see at the start, there was actually a screenshot taken from when the person got this, so I'm sure he was very hyped. This is just about the best thing you could possibly get from your weekly drop right here, a Dragonlore with an insane float value. And the final really high tier, insane, low float, expensive drop skin for this video was this Agakihara Accept that was dropped with a 0.001 float value. I don't believe there's any that have 3 zeros that have been dropped or received in a trade up yet, but I believe it's kind of hard to actually trade up to a low float one of these, so there isn't too many low float ones. There is a couple low float ones, but they're all from drops, and I'm sure those people would not sell them because I think the same people have had them for a while, so I'm guessing these would cost a lot, like over 600 keys from one of these top float ones. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Hope you guys like this video, and make sure to check out all my other CSGO skin videos. But I'm Mcskillet, and I'm out.